I want to bring in from the Fitz-Gerald group, their principal, Keith Fitz-Gerald. Keith, it's kind of profound. I'll give you that. I kind of say, that's interesting. So what could go right?
Well, two of the big flies in the ointment that you guys have just been talking about. The debt ceiling could suddenly miraculously have an agreement, unlikely though that may be anytime soon. And the Fed could pause, or the Fed could at least blink. If either of those things happen, all the hedge funds you've just been talking about with my dear friend Shaw are going to come in like a rocket. It's going to be a rip your face off scenario. It's going to go upside like we haven't seen in a long time. The energy is already building.
Now, you write about heroes and zeros, which I think is a fancy way of sort of grading management, right? On one side of the ledger, Home Depot, which posted earnings, the stock got hit, sort of on the zero list, but their rival Lowe's posted their results. That stock is up. I mean, when you're trying to figure out these markets, and we know it's a stock picker's market, how important is it to sort of be able to do these sort of, rival versus rival to, again, find out the heroes versus the zeros?
Well, actually, for me, as I define the term, it's a relatively simple exercise, because if you look at CEOs like Tim Cook, you look at Elon Musk, you look at the true visionaries of the universe, they are in line to make billions of dollars for their shareholders. If you switch onto the other side of the fence, you get the dog ate my homework, you get excuses about inflation, supply chain management, all of which are a cover story, Charles, for management that didn't anticipate the market correctly. So finding heroes and zeros is a matter of lining up perspective. It's a matter of going to the stores you know and support and see with your own eyes that continue to charge forward. That, to me, is how you define a hero versus a zero.
Let's talk about the broader market. Where do you see the broader market going from here? I mean, you talked about the potential for this sort of a melt up. Would you be making your bet on the melt up versus another pullback?
Well, I already have been. I mean, I've been since the beginning of the year talking about this, and, a lot of people thought I was out on a limb somewhere. But now that narrative is catching up with me. We're already positioned. You don't switch horses in the middle of a race. You're winning. So for me, it's the big tech. I'm particularly eyeing this news today about Apple and Broadcom, because I think that writes potentially Intel's tombstone.
Really? Wow. It's really interesting because Intel has been just a series of mistakes for a decade now. You've had the emergence of Advanced Micro, NVIDIA, and others that, to be quite frank with you, if Intel was doing their job, would have never happened.
Exactly.
Earnings season. We're toward the end of it. It's, for me, it's the best time to learn, find new names. It's also the time I take most of my lumps. Have you found new names this earnings season that are now on your radar? Maybe you even bought them?
Well, again, I'm trying very hard to keep it on the fairway. Now's not the time to be swinging for the fences. Now's the time to just be concentrating on what you know. Great stocks, the Chevrons of the world, trying to accumulate those. The chip stocks of the world, because I believe in AI, trying to accumulate those. Apple, of course. I'm looking at every negative news report with the intent of buying more of that stock, and I hope I'm smart enough to do it.
Yeah, of course. I think Palantir is a great example of that. I read somewhere now that they're finally starting to burnish their AI bona fides because they weren't in the AI discussion enough.
Well, they weren't, but also don't forget that a lot of what that company does is classified. So it just can't tell this story like a traditional Wall Street stock. So Wall Street bullies it, even though they're quietly accumulating positions.
All right, Keith, fantastic stuff. Thank you very much.
Hi, it's Keith here. Thanks for checking out today's highlight clip. What'd you think? Did I make sense? Is there something you'd like to add? Make sure you leave a comment down below, and of course, click subscribe to keep up right here on YouTube, or sign up for the email newsletter at the link below. You can also find me on Twitter and Instagram for my real-time thoughts on markets, analysis, and a whole lot more.